Hey guys, so today I thought I would talk about the little changes I make in, I don't even know if it's like my makeup routine necessarily, it's more like my makeup mood. And these changes come about when the season changes. So today in Vegas, I would say it's like the official first day of fall. It's only going to get high in the mid 70s. It's going to get into the like low 60s as a low. And this is very cool weather for Las Vegas. And I could not be more excited. So anyway, when the weather starts to cool, my makeup mood definitely starts to change. So what I wanted to talk about are those changes and like the things that I would say I do differently between spring, summer, and fall, winter, excluding holiday, because holiday is a whole different kind of look. And I definitely want to do some holiday looks this next month. So first, let's talk about like glow versus sweaty, sexy, and shiny and dewy. So in the spring, summertime, I really, really love to amp up that kind of sweaty, sexy look. That is definitely not a term that I've come up with. I think Victoria Beckham has been quoted to use that phrase. And it's a look that like I said, I really embrace in the spring, summertime. It's that sort of like I've been sitting by the pool, I've been on the beach all day, I've just been out and active, and it works beautifully with a bronze. But come the fall, winter, I really don't like that much shine. I still really enjoy a little bit of healthy glow. I do have dry skin. And so what I do differently is I really just tone down like a lot of highlight usage. And if I do use highlight in like the fall season or whatever, I generally just end up sticking to just putting it kind of like on the high points of my cheeks. But today I don't even have highlight on, and what I like to do is leave the glow to my complexion versus kind of piling it on top. So what I like to do is use like a glowy primer underneath my foundation. The first two that came to mind, I do have plenty of glowy bases, but these two are probably my favorite. The first one is the Victoria Beckham Cell Rejuvenating Priming Moisturizer. She has two shades. One is the original. I don't know if that one has a name, but she came out with one that has a little bit of like a bronzy tint, golden, which is really, really lovely. I like using golden in the spring, summertime because it has that bronzy tinge. And I really like the original for the fall, winter because it doesn't have that bronzy tone to it, but it does give your skin that little bit of like a golden glow. But what I have on today is the Bobbi Brown Bare Glow Illuminating Moisture Balm. This is incredible. This has a little bit of a thicker texture than the Victoria Beckham. So if I feel like my skin needs a little bit of a moisturizing boost, which in the fall, winter, it definitely does. The air here is dry pretty much year round, but it becomes really dry. I think with like the forced air and everything, my skin just becomes incredibly dry. So anyway, I love this Illuminating Moisture Balm. Again, it's what I have on my face today, and it's so creamy, and it leaves my skin looking like otherworldly glowy, not shiny, not particularly like lit, just pure glow. And I really hope you guys can see it in this footage of me applying it, but it is gorgeous. And the texture of this is so rich and creamy. Oh, I just absolutely love it. So that is definitely one change I make when the weather gets a little bit cooler. Like I said, I just want a nice glow, but I don't necessarily need to like be dewy and shiny. Next up, let's talk about foundation. So I really enjoy a light medium coverage foundation. That really doesn't change throughout the year. Of course, if there's like an occasion that calls for like an uber perfected look, yes, I'll put on a fuller coverage foundation. But generally, 95% of the time, I really like light medium coverage foundations. However, again, because I'm not going for like that sweaty, dewy, shiny look, I like foundations that have a little bit more of a skin-like sort of finish. So just two that come to mind. I have so many foundations, and there's definitely a few others that I could have pulled out. I'm thinking now of like the Dior Forever foundation, but I pulled out the Armani Luminous Silk foundation and the Clé de Peau Radiant Fluid Foundation matte. I love the Radiant Fluid Foundation natural, but the matte one is probably the one that I'm going to be reaching for this coming season. It's not a flat matte. None of these foundations have like a flat matte finish. They just have a very natural kind of glow. They don't have that extra special radiance or kind of like juiciness to it. I want something just a little bit more skin-like. So I have the Luminous Silk on today, and I know by the name and the description of this, which is Perfect Glow Flawless Foundation, it at least on my skin, it sounds like it's going to be a foundation that's going to be really glowy, you know, Luminous Silk, Perfect Glow. But as you can tell, and I don't have any powder down, as you can tell, it's just this really pretty skin-like finish. I don't feel like I look especially shiny. So these are definitely the foundations that I am reaching for this season and really, really enjoying. I'm loving this really natural finish. You can probably see it down here the best. And then in terms of like cheek products, I tend to go now towards more neutral, cooler toned products, bronzers in particular. So the bronzers that I really enjoy in the summertime are the warmer ones, the ones that have like a really pretty sheen to them. A great example of one actually is the Sicily, their gel powder bronzer. This guy, their like very famous bronzer. This has a like very high shine to it, and it is very warm in tone. So the bronzer that I have on today is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Bronzer in medium, and this is a matte bronzer, and it is also much more neutral in tone. I'm gonna hold up these two next to one another, and I think you can see how much more orange the Sicily is and how much more neutral the Charlotte Tilbury is. And I definitely don't shy away from bronzers that have like a subtle sheen to them in the fall winter, but I generally don't reach for bronzers that have this much of a sheen to them. This has just an incredible shine to it. So these are the ones that I kind of stay away from, but it's really the tone of the bronzers that I use in the fall winter that change from the spring summer. So like I said, something a little bit more neutral like this Charlotte Tilbury one. Again, this is what I have dusted all over my face. I also love the Bobbi Brown Stone Street. This is another matte bronzer, very neutral. And this bronzer from Vapor I really love. And this has a little bit of sheen to it, but has a very nice neutral tone. So those are definitely the bronzers that I gravitate towards. And then blushes, you know, again, in the spring, summer, I love those really punchy colors, the ones that are like bright corals, bubblegum pinks, like really, really bright in your face kind of blushes. And so again, for the fall winter, I tone it down. And the one blush that I've been loving, you guys have heard me talk about this now a lot. This is the Dior blush Charnel number 459. And this one is like a really pretty peachy neutral shade, but it's fairly subdued, and I just have it brushed really lightly on the apples of my cheeks. Everything else you see on my cheek is that Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, but I really like more nude, neutral kind of blushes for the fall winter. And as for highlight, like I said, I really enjoy highlight, and for holiday looks, I will definitely amp it up, but for like an everyday fall winter look, I really don't put that much highlight on. And today I didn't put any highlight on, which I feel like just works better with this, I don't know, more like subdued kind of look. I feel like if I put highlight on, it would look really, I don't know, almost out of place. So yeah, highlight I definitely kind of take a step back from. I love highlight, as you guys know, and when I do use it, I will probably just focus it just on my cheekbones here. I probably won't brush it on my forehead and down my nose and, you know, really like glow up my face. I'll just sort of like spot highlight there. So that is definitely something I tone down for the fall winter. And next, for eyes and eyebrows. Eyebrows, I definitely like to do a little bit more deep. What I like to do, if I have time, is to use a pencil and a tinted brow gel. Usually, especially in the spring, summer, or when I'm lazy or don't have time, I just use a tinted brow gel. It's just easy, it's fast, I brush it in, you know, get my brows in place, and that's fine. But in the fall winter, I really like something a little bit more bold, and that's probably because I like a bolder eye look, but we'll get to that. So today I used a little bit of brow pencil. I used the Surratt Expressionist brow pencil. I think that's the name of it. And I have it in the shade Raven. But other ones that I really enjoy is like the Dior Show, like brow styler or something like that. It's really, really fine. I love the new Bobbi Brown micro brow pencil. That one's really, really great. These fine ones are so great at mimicking brow hairs. And then I'll go in with a tinted brow gel. Of course, I love my Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel, which I see is like out of stock everywhere. So I've been really getting into the Persona Swipe Up Brow Gel. I used that in my last video. So while most people probably do this double brow step, I don't. I usually, like I said, I just do the brow gel in the spring, summer, and now with the fall, winter, I really like kind of amping it up a little bit, which leads me to my eyes. So I do like to do more dramatic eye looks come the fall, winter time. I love, as you guys know, I love one and done eyeshadow looks. That is all year round. That is probably something I will still do plenty of. But if I am going to do a more dramatic, involved eye look, it is most likely going to happen in the fall, winter time. It's probably not something I'm going to do in the spring, summer. I like to do, as you guys know, I like to do like one cream shadow and just like rub it in and be done. But I really like doing smokier eye looks for the fall. I feel like fall and smoky eye looks are just synonymous with one another. Same with winter, I suppose. So I'll use like deeper shades, and this is more dramatic for me. I know this is not an incredibly dramatic eye look, but this is a little bit more dramatic for me. I use the Wang Tourmaline eyeshadow palette. I love it. It has such a beautiful range of colors, and I use this pretty much all over my lid. I use this to deepen up the outer corner. I use the matte brown along my lash line. And I definitely used more of that like blackened wine shade, like more than I normally would. And I really love it. Like I said, I just feel like for the fall, this is what I like to do. And I definitely put on a lot more eyeliner as well. So I'm tight lined and waterlined on both of my eyes. And that's definitely something I don't do a lot of in the spring, summertime. I like my eyes to look light and open and just, you know, really, really simple and clean. But yeah, I just want something a little bit more dramatic for the fall. I have the Dior iconic Overcurl mascara on. This is definitely like a more volumizing mascara. So yeah, I just like a heavier eye situation between my eyebrows and my eyeshadow and eyeliner and mascara. And as for lips, okay, we need to talk about lips because companies have been coming out with a matte lipstick lately, which looks kind of matte, but feels incredibly creamy and moisturizing on the lips. It is boggling my mind, and I've never been opposed to the matte look necessarily. I love all lip looks, from super juicy to matte, but I've always stayed away from matte lipsticks because they're just not as comfortable as a satin lipstick, even though they are longer lasting. But the matte formulas that companies are coming out with now are so incredibly moisturizing. So in yesterday's video, you saw me swatch the two new Hermes matte lipsticks that I got. This is that Rose Tamassé. This is a gorgeous color, and this orange brulee shade. These matte lipsticks, they go on so creamy like. They're really just incredible. And then the new La Perla lipsticks, these are called matte silky lipsticks. They go on like a cream lipstick. And I feel like the matte lipsticks that are coming out now, they're not flat and dry looking. They just aren't super creamy looking. So I just feel like they're perfect, and I'm loving them. Today, I'm actually wearing an oldie but goodie, and I have a few oldie but goodie matte formulas that I think were ahead of their time. This is from Sicily, and you guys probably remember me going on and on about these lipsticks when they first came out like 2 or 3 years ago at this point. These are their Lafito Rouge, and I have number 33, Orange Sevilla, on my lips today. If you guys have been with me for a while, you'll remember this lipstick and how I just adored this lipstick, especially for fall, because it's this kind of burnt rusty color, which is so perfect. It's so autumnal. But these lipsticks are described as matte. And I was like, are they? Because they go on, like, seriously, they go on like a cream lipstick, and they don't look flat, but they don't really look shiny either. So Sicily was really ahead of its time when it came out with this formula years ago. But the Gucci matte formula also, this is Janet Rust. Again, it is one of those non-shiny formulas. Look at that color. But it goes on like, it just glides right on. I mean, they're really, really incredible. And that's been out for a while. And I think even older than the Sicily Lafito Rouge formula are the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Revolution formula. This Matte Revolution formula, again, very, very creamy, and it looks really beautiful on the lips because they're not too flat and dry looking. They just lack that shine. So that's another older formula. And then one, I guess, that kind of falls in between, the Givenchy Le Rouge Deep Velvet. So this is another one. It has really high pigmentation, but it just glides right onto the lips. Super soft feeling, very moisturizing, but look at that, like totally matte. These formulas are incredible. I really, really love them, and I'm really, really picky about my lipstick formulas. There are a few that have come out kind of sprinkled in there between the Sicily and these newer ones that I just wasn't a fan of, like the Tom Ford Satin Matte lipstick. Do you guys remember those? It came in like the longer, skinnier tube, I think. Yeah, the longer, skinnier tube. And they went on great. They went on really smoothly. They definitely had like a matter type finish, but those dried my lips out. Within 2 hours, I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And I felt kind of the same way with the Clé de Peau Cashmere lipstick formula. And I love the Clé de Peau lipstick formula. I also love the Tom Ford, regular lipstick formula. But anyway, these matte lipsticks are incredible and definitely gravitating towards these during the fall winter time. And then in terms of lip colors, I'm sure you guys could guess. I love that bright orange, orangey red neon color, especially for the spring summer. I feel like that color looks so good on bronzed skin. I get real excited for that lip color. And I feel like colors like this is like the fall winter version of that. They're like a warm, orangey toned lip color, but there's a lot of brown. They're obviously a lot deeper and they're not quite as bright. So I love colors like this. Again, this is the Sicily number 33 Lafito Rouge lipstick. And I also really love like super cool toned, almost gray lipsticks. And this Hermes Rose Tamassé is like perfect for that. They're very mauvey, very gray toned. Oh, and they just look so appropriately fall because they're a little like spooky looking, especially if you do it with like a black lined, cool toned eye look. Yeah, very like kind of Halloween-y. All right, and last but not least, perfume. I do a really big kind of 180 when it comes to perfume. And this is very recent for me. I probably started doing this last winter. I have always really enjoyed light, citrusy, bright, like Jo Malone grapefruit. You guys have heard me talk about that for a gazillion years now. I've been wearing that for probably more than 20 years. And I have started getting into these more gourmand, deeper, warmer perfumes. I can't get enough of them. And the one that I'm wearing today is the Harmonist Hypnotizing Fire. I love this scent. I fell in love with this scent when I got the candle. The candle has a little bit more, appropriately so, it has a little bit more of the fire aspect of this, a little bit more wood smoke in there. This perfume, there's definitely an essence of that, but I feel like the gourmand notes are a little bit stronger in the actual perfume. So I smell like more of the caramel and the vanilla and the tonka bean and whatever else they have in here. But it's this really warm, like Hypnotizing Fire is just such a great name for it. It really is an incredibly like sexy and compelling kind of fragrance. I think when I talked about this the first time, I described this as more of like a third date fragrance instead of a first date fragrance, if you get my drift. Definitely going to be using that in the upcoming season. And I have a lot, but I just pulled out a few. The Frederic Malle Portrait of a Lady. There's just something really, it's very floral, but it's dark. There's rose in there, but it's it's just kind of like a dark fragrance. It's very like smoky bar appropriate, even though it's very floral. It's so strange. So love that. And the one fragrance that I've been loving for this kind of transition into fall is the Sicilian Leather perfume from Memo Paris. And I mentioned this in my favorites for last month. This is just like this perfect marriage of leather and like citrus. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like this perfect bridge between like the late summertime and the early fall. It's just wonderful. You really have to like the smell of like new leather, which I do. It smells like a new handbag, new shoes, a new car. Love this. Love it so much. So those are my seasonal beauty switch ups. Let me know if you guys do any switch ups down below in the comment section. I feel like this is the beauty version of like switching out your wardrobe from all of those summery dresses into like sweaters and stuff. I just love it. It's so much fun. So yeah, let me know down below in the comment section if you do this, and if you do, what you change up. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.